And now it's time for your viewer comments. Let's begin with a G-Shock comment. It's been a while since we made a G-Shock video. We will be making more G-Shock videos in time. It's just that I haven't gotten much hands-on G-Shocks, but I do have one there. I just need to find a battery, the one that the Deech gave us. But this comment is talking about that model that I wanted to get, but I think I'm still a little bit short on getting one, but I may be getting one soon. I saw one that's a white version, which is really great. So this comment is from the GAB001 short that I made. Lalit Bati 7157 says, no Lume in indices sucks big time and negative display. Both these reduce its most important function to see time in a glance. Yes, watches needs to be legible. That's the whole point of having a watch. You need to be able to read the time. Even under low light conditions, most dive watches have fantastic lume, or at least those who are trying to be an actual dive watch and not just a dive style watch. But let's step back and look at G-Shock and how it created its watches in the first place. If you look closely at all of the G-Shock's models and design philosophy, they really embrace the quartzness of their watches, meaning that they know that they're battery powered, and most of them have an LED or a light button, and that's part of the design. So when it comes to thinking about lume, they don't really put so much lume on their watches because they know that you can always press a button to light it up. And that's part of its design. You need to press that button to see the time. It may be counterintuitive or even be cumbersome for us to actually press a button. Come on. I mean, like, all you need to do is press a button. But so many of us are so used in the mechanical side of things that we just turn our wrist and you see the time, even under low light conditions. But here's something to keep in mind. That lume that you have can only last so long. If you look at your watch in general during low light conditions, even with great lume, it's not going to be the lume that you're going to see. It's the contrast of the watch and its indices. Sometimes the lume stays there, but it's not going to stay there for long. So in essence, G-Shock may have a one-up to that because you can always press the button at any point of time and it will light up. If it doesn't have a battery, then why are you using your G-Shock in the first place? Second, there's a function of many G-Shocks now that it's the EL display. So when you turn auto light, rather, that's my EL, yeah, EL or auto light. When you turn your certain G-Shocks, when you turn your wrist, it just lights up on its own, and that could, counteract that feeling that you lost by having such a lume. And another one to keep in mind, the third one, is that some G-Shocks now are getting lume. Say, for example, that new Frogman, that MRG Frogman, it has actual lume on its indices. So maybe G-Shock is catching on, but if you look at the history of their watches, they want you to press that button to light up. Wamai says about the best skin diver under $1,000, which is the Wise skin diver or Wise Damascus. The bracelet transition was mint. Okay, thank you so much. You like that? Well done, my friend. Also, thanks for the visual on a bracelet. Confirmed my purchase from Wise based solely on that. Cheers. Okay, so actually, I sold him in two watches here. The Wise Damascus, the AD8, and the Spearfish from Zelos. Or probably he already has a Zelos Spearfish and then he pull the trigger on this one, which is a real solid combination. I still have the Skin Diver. Sadly, I don't have the Zelos Spearfish anymore. That went to a very good home, but nevertheless, the Wise at Damascus is really the best watch that Wise has to offer. Of course, they're going to contend and say, yeah, no, we have better watches coming. The Flyboy, I asked them to send me the Flyboy. I wanted to review that, but so far they haven't replied to me. But if you want an actual full bracelet at Damascus, you should be getting the AD9. What I have here is the AD8, and so far they haven't released a full 904L steel bracelet for the AD8. They have that now for the AD9. So if you want to try that out, you may want to try that next version of the Damascus. We've tried out like so many Damascus here. I still have one there to review. I think it's the Damascus bronze, so stay tuned for that. But yes, Wamai, you will not regret making this purchase. Next, Martin Wayden 40 says, stop having such a negative vibe. Vibe or vibe? Vibe. You are very negative. Go get a laugh movie or something like that. A laugh movie. Is it a movie that I should laugh at, or is it a comedy? Look, no movie can give me optimism. Or maybe there are some. Let's be honest with that. But it's very rare that it could give me optimism. And I'm not so negative. Come on. I mean, like, where should I place myself? Many people would say, hey, you don't talk about negative stuff about your watches. You just talk about the good stuff. You're a commercial. You're a shield to the companies. And now here's someone that says, I'm too negative. Or maybe because I'm criticizing both Omega and Tudor in the Omega and Tudor watch video that I made. Well, but it's true. Those are valid criticisms, are they not? I'm not overly negative. If you compare me to other channel hosts out there, they really bash the watch. I'm actually pretty generous. So I'm a generous pirate. I'm not so negative, so I disagree. Oh, and Martin Wayden 40, you're banned from the show. MDV69 says about the 5 alternative to Tudor Royal 2020. Go buy a Rolex as alternative? Yeah, sure. Okay, now who's negative? I think MDV69 is negative. Maybe Martin Wayden 40 should criticize MDV69 because he is much more negative than I am. And okay, let's address what he is saying here. In that Tudor video that I made years ago, I said that the Rolex, what's it called? The Rolex Datejust, the fluted bezel, is an alternative to the Tudor Royal. So, in that video, I clearly said that if we are to compare the Tudor Royal on what it's trying to imitate or trying to reference, it's the actual Datejust from Rolex. So, by hindsight, getting a pre-owned or an old Datejust could be an alternative to the Tudor Royal if you couldn't get the Tudor Royal. At that time, you couldn't get the Tudor Royal, but now it's fairly available everywhere. And at the same time, I wasn't talking about its price range. Yes, I acknowledge that the Datejust is twice as much that would cost you to get a Tudor Royal. But it's an alternative nonetheless. It's a choice nonetheless because it looks too similar. But again, I also would like to admit that yes, probably MDV69 here is trying to hint at people's general mentality when it comes to alternatives. Alternatives, first and foremost, when you say alternative, the first thing that comes to mind, us watch pirates, is that we want an alternative for the money that we're going to spend or drop on this particular watch. So that's where MDV69 might be trying to say here, or trying to scoff at me and saying, yeah, sure. No. But anyway, who's negative here? Martin Waden might probably get along with MDB 69. I can only imagine the conversation that they'd be having.